Fortune favours the bold. These were the immortal words of Pliny the Elder, shortly before his untimely death in AD 79. Here on Aliens Explored, we occasionally like to delve into accounts of UFO sightings from ancient times. And this week, we will be discussing reports of a UFO sighting by this Roman statesman back in AD 76. This episode of Aliens Explored is dedicated to our explorer of the week, Toby Fomes. Toby supports our work by subscribing to our Patreon. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Aliens Explored to find a tier that's right for you.
Aliens Explored is a weekly podcast exploring famous and obscure cases of UFO sightings, alien abductions and other strange events from both a believing and a skeptical perspective, whilst keeping an open mind. I'm Stu Jackson, a professional actor and amateur ufologist with a particular interest in the crop circle phenomenon. I'll be debating that otherworldly visitations are real. The truth is out there.
And I'm Neil Kelly. I'm a professional actor as well and used to work for the military as an intelligence analyst. I'll be arguing from a more doubtful point of view. I mean, it's all a bit far-fetched, isn't it?
Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of Aliens Explored, where we look at historical and recent cases of UFOs, EBEs, UAPs, and all manner of other acronyms that we can think of. I am one of your hosts, Stu Jackson.
And I'm your other host, Neil Kelly. Hello.
How are you doing, Neil?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm off work for a little while now, so I can relax.
Oh, is that a holiday?
It is a holiday. Yeah, we're off tomorrow to see the grandkids. We're doing our Four Nations tour. We're going across. We're getting the train over to France. We're taking the car, going on the shuttle, going over to France, and then driving through to Aachen in Germany, staying there for a couple of nights, and then going up to see the grandkids near Arnhem in Holland, and then driving back on Friday. Stopping up in France, obviously, to do our shopping because everything's so much cheaper there. We're going to stock up on our beer, wine, coffee, chocolate, that sort of thing. I know it sounds maybe to our American listeners that might sound quite exotic, but believe me, you probably drive further on a night out.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Oh yeah, no, that's so you're driving over. Okay,
yeah, makes it easier.
Fair play. Driving on the other side of the road, of course, is you've driven out there before?
Oh, well, pretty much, yeah. I mean, I learned to drive here in the UK, and then pretty much soon after that, straight after, well, a few months later, was posted out to West Germany. And so the first car I owned was a left-hand drive, even though I'd learned to drive a right-hand drive car. It's your left-hand drive car, and driving it on the right-hand side of the road. So yeah, I'm very used to driving in Europe. Janet
right.
isn't.
Oh,
so I've got to do all the driving on that side anyway.
I've only ever done it once, and it was I took my own car over to Holland, so I was in a right-hand drive car driving on the right-hand side of the road. That was I mean, it was okay. It was okay.
For our American listeners, in Britain, we drive on the left-hand side of the road, and the steering wheel in our car is on the right-hand side of the road. So obviously, as the driver, you're nearest to the centre of the road. And it causes all kinds of issues when we go over to France, where they drive on the same side of the road as you. And Brits are often involved in accidents because they've just gone into the wrong side of the road. Or especially if you're going down I've almost been in an accident with someone else driving who wasn't used to it, going down a narrow road. They see a car coming from the other direction, and of course they automatically pulled over to the left. right into the path of the other car, because that's what they're naturally going to do. But normally, in a traffic system, you just follow the other traffic, so it's not usually an issue. But there we go. So that's my plans for once we finish this.
Right. Oh, excellent. Well, you enjoy your holiday.
Thank you. We're back in the room, folks, talking about Pliny the Elder, a Roman statesman, scholar, and admiral in their navy who saw a UFO shortly before his death from a volcano erupting too close to him.
So it's worth mentioning Pliny the Elder didn't see the UFO himself.
Right, so second-hand news already.
He recorded it in the 76 BC equivalent of Wikipedia, the Naturalis Historia.
Yeah.
Natural history. He basically wrote an encyclopedia.
Yeah, and the first book concerns mainly astronomy. So have an account of a spark falling from a star and increasing as it approached the Earth until it became the size of the moon, shining through a cloud, and then returned into the heavens and was converted into a lampas.
Well, that's the particularly interesting bit that I find with this. So this is in, if anybody wants to go out and read Naturalis Historia, it's in chapter 35.
Has it been translated into English, or is it you got to be a Latin scholar? Okay.
So I can give you the text in English. Trouble is, I mean, with translating these things, there is an amount of estimation that there always will be. But what it says, in essence, is we have an account of a spark falling from a star and increasing as it approached the Earth until it became the size of the moon, shining as through a cloud. It afterwards returned into the heavens and was converted into a lampas. This occurred in the consulship of Consul Octavius and Consul Scribonius. It was seen by Silanus, the proconsul, and his attendants.
Right.
So we don't entirely know what's meant by lampas. There is no exact translation. Depending on context, it could mean faces. It could mean torches. It could mean lamps, darts, beams. There's a lot of things that lampas can mean depending on context, and we don't have the exact context from what he says to know which he means. I'm of the opinion that he probably means it just went back up into the sun, hung there as a bright light, like a lamp.
Or it was something that was passing. I mean, there have been objects, haven't there, which will kind of enter our atmosphere and pass straight through and go out again. Don't they do that sometimes?
I don't.
Or appear to enter our atmosphere. That they like Halley's Comet. I mean, it's a sort of flyby, isn't it?
It is. Yes, but then when Halley's Comet does appear, because of its distance, it doesn't look like it's moving across the sky particularly.
I guess not. No, it's too far away, isn't it? And
it certainly wouldn't become the size of the moon.
No.
But so this is the thing with this, and it often gets dismissed, this account, as being, well, clearly it was a meteor, but Pliny writes about meteors at length in other parts of the Naturalis Historia. So he knows what they are. He knows what comets are. I mean, the astrology at the time was surprisingly good.
I think you mean astronomy.
These weren't unknown. Did I say astrology? Yeah.
Astrology. Yeah, he realised he would meet a tall, dark stranger and begin a new romance when he saw it.
Yes. So I mean, he talks about eclipses, he talks about meteors, talks about the aurora borealis. He knows his.
So did Romans go that far north?
Yes.
Did they go far enough north to see the aurora borealis? I mean, you've got to go pretty far north to get that, haven't you?
They certainly got reports of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, he writes about this thing which he didn't see himself.
No.
I think that's quite...
But this is a proconsul, sorry, a very senior person in Roman society, wasn't he? Very responsible person. 2 consuls and the proconsul's attendants as well. So, it's not a small sighting. Although those are the people he gets the reports from, anyway. So it looks like it's a meteor, but it's a spark from a star. Now, I'm going to say, if you had a mothership, an extraterrestrial mothership, and you had a smaller orbital craft coming off it, wouldn't that in the night sky look like a spark coming from a star?
I don't know. I've never seen it, to tell the truth.
I mean, I've watched enough science fiction.
Yeah. I mean, what was there? Did they have an established system for logging astral events, or was it all just a bit? We've seen this thing, and I'll describe it as best I can, and that's it. There's no. I mean, that's pretty much formal process of logging things.
If it's just an eyewitness event, it's no different.
But comets
described as
comets don't pass by the Earth without being noticed by someone and formally logged. So there will be an official record somewhere of exactly what it is by someone who knows exactly what it is and where it's come from and where it's going and why it looked like it did.
It would be so easy to dismiss this as a meteor, a big one, mind, if it's the size of the moon. That's a big meteor.
That's coming pretty close, yeah.
And we know that it must have been a reasonable height because it was shining as through a cloud. Now it says as through a cloud, so I'm wondering, does that mean there was some sort of distortion to the light?
That would do it, yeah. That would.
But here's the thing: it afterwards returned into the heavens and was converted into a lampus. That's not. I mean, meteors do not come into the atmosphere, which is, by the way, that's when we see them light up. A meteor is because it is burning up in the atmosphere. It doesn't come into the atmosphere and then go out again. Once it's in the atmosphere, it gets pulled down to Earth. Gravity and all that. So, yeah.
I thought I'd read something somewhere about something passing through, sort of bouncing off. It came very close, but then...
But would it be the size of the moon if it's done that?
No, that would be extremely large.
It really, really would. I mean, I'm thinking, and I've nothing to back this up. This is just my general impression. But if it was that big enough to look like the moon, then isn't it kind of like a life-ending meteor? Like the one that killed off the dinosaurs?
And if it was that big, how come Pliny the Elder didn't see it? How come everyone didn't see it? What was he hiding indoors?
Well,
sleeping off a bender or something, and no one said, "Oh, look at that up in the sky. Go and get Pliny the Elder because he'll be really interested in this." I imagine it was there for more than a few seconds if it was that big.
Well, bear in mind that he got the report from the proconsul. That's not to say that other people didn't see it. It's just that's who he got the report from.
But as big as the moon in the sky.
Yeah. It may be that the whole town saw it.
Not as big as the moon, but a smaller object, but nearer. That ratio was the same. Yeah, this is very small, and this is very far away. That kind of thing. But why didn't he see it if it was that big? If it was that took up that much room. I'm
reminded of the Father Ted episode describing the cows.
Yeah, he's got a little plastic cow. This is very small, and then there's a real cow over there. This is very far away, but you hold it up, they look the same.
That's it. But yeah, no. There's nothing to say that the proconsul and the consuls were the only people to see it. It doesn't say one way or the other, so that would be an assumption. Pliny himself might not have been around at the time.
But if it's that big...
Yeah.
To light up the sky that much, how did... Well, it's all about ratios, isn't it? It could have been a much smaller object than we think, but much closer than we think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it maybe it was only in the sky for a couple of seconds and hey, look, oh, what? Oh, it's gone.
Maybe. Maybe it was the size of a small car.
Yeah.
Like the Americans have been blowing out this sky lately.
Don't know what it is. Launch a Sidewinder. But yeah, he makes a whole list of things, doesn't he? In his Naturalis Historia, but it's
a list.
Yeah, but
a list of what?
Phenomena. I thought there was a kind of index of.
There might well be.
Yeah,
I'm not aware of one myself. I know he talks about other astrological things at various points.
Yeah, a report here suggests that as Pliny moved in the highest circles of Roman society, it's quite possible, or we'll say likely, that this account came to him directly from the horse's mouth, rather than passed along and being exaggerated and embellished as it went until finally it got to him. Yeah. So, we can speculate, but we can just, as to what that means, his description of spark falling from a star or a...
It's one of the issues we have when looking at ancient accounts of UFOs is the language that is used to describe things is from a different frame of context to what we have in modern day times. But we do know...
And in a different language that allows some sort of flexibility around translation, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That also is an issue. But we do know that Pliny knew about a lot of astrological events. Like I say, he certainly knew about meteors and comets. So I'm inclined to think, he was a great thinker. If what was being described to him sounded like a meteor, I'm pretty confident he would have recorded it as a meteor. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He's obviously recorded it as an unidentified object, a UAP, if you will.
But again, we're back to, he didn't see it himself. And
no.
He obviously didn't have the arrogance to say, well, I didn't see it, but I know what that is. I'll just log it as a meteor. He obviously had some reason to not do that. To say there was maybe whoever told him said, no, this was something. I've been with you. I've seen meteors. This is something different.
Yeah, it's certainly a curious one.
Yeah. We can make of it what we will. I mean, I think a problem with Latin is that it can be interpreted in, well, I suppose any language, any translation is an approximation, even if it's a language close to ours like French or Spanish, and you're translating a word like dog or cat. Even simple nouns like that can be used in different contexts in their language than we would use it.
Well, certainly a lot of Latin is contextual. Like I say, we've got this word lampus, which could mean a lot of different things depending on what it actually is. But I know some people have theorized that to mean that it basically it went back up into the air and exploded. That's quite a bold statement, I would say. I mean, to me, lampus, it's more, it stays there. It's, it sort of hangs in the sky. Yeah. I'm not sure. It is really, like I say, really difficult to look back at these historical events and form a conclusion, but
this idea of a falling star gets to a certain point and goes back up into the sky, or at least that's what it appeared to do to the person on the ground watching it. Maybe that's not what happened.
No. And you know what? I'm thinking about meteors coming into the atmosphere, then burning up. It would appear to get bigger and then get smaller again.
Yeah. So you think it's getting bigger and bigger as it comes nearer and nearer. Oh, it's getting smaller and smaller. That must mean it's going back its reverse direction.
Away. This meteor is very large, but this one's far away. Yeah.
Or did he actually see it whiz round in a big loop and take off again?
So going back to the translation I've got, it afterwards returned into the heavens. Yeah, that doesn't suggest a direction. It doesn't suggest it's travelled back upwards. But then if it was getting smaller as it passed overhead, that would look like it's travelled. Yeah, it's a tricky one. And you know what? On this occasion, I know I lean very heavily on the no, it's a UFO, and they would have known. I'm inclined to say, there is too little information on this one for me to say definitively it's a UAP. I can see the possibility of it being something a bit more common a garden, like a meteor.
From a second-hand report from 2,000 years ago, it's quite hard to... Yeah, we can only speculate.
But that is all we've got to go on. And I think, it's important that we keep these reports in mind as our understanding of the universe increases and we have better explanations for things going forward, it's worth revisiting these things. Yeah. So yeah, I'm keeping an open mind.
Yeah, I mean, I guess studying reports of ancient sightings of things in the modern age, probably a lot of them, they can just be weeded out. They can say, oh yeah, this was this or this was that. We can be pretty sure that it was one of those, but there will always be a few things that are just left over that because of the way they're described, or there's some anomaly about them. It doesn't quite fit any of the categories. It's just unidentified. Something was seen. We can't say for sure what that was based on our current frame of knowledge.
That's it. And it's important as researchers, as ufologists, that we remember that unidentified does not automatically mean it's a flying saucer.
No, it means it's unidentified.
Exactly.
Or in this case,
seem to find a lot of people who will go, well, look, we can't answer what it is, so it must be extraterrestrial. No, not necessarily.
Or that if you say it's a UFO, well, I'm hearing flying saucer. Well, no, what I'm saying is it's something up there that's unidentified. And again, we said this many times. It's in some cases we're not even prepared to say it is a flying object. It's an aerial phenomenon, unidentified.
Yeah.
So
if it was a mirage
in the sky,
that's not a flying object. Yeah, but what do you think, listeners? Is Pliny's UFO something that we should be taking a bit more seriously and looking at more in depth? Have we missed something in the translation that indicates there is more to it, or even if there's less to it? Because it sounds like we're both pretty much on the fence with this one.
Very much on the fence. I'm not coming off the fence.
So do let us know what you think. You can let us know via the usual means. Of course, you can contact us on Facebook and on Twitter by searching Aliens Explored. You can email us aliensexplored@gmail.com, or you can join our Patreon community over on Discord by becoming one of our patrons. You do that by going to patreon.com/Aliens Explored, and by picking a tier that suits you. You get access to all the other Patreons, and over on Discord, and we have some lively chats over there for sure. So do look into that. In the meantime, do join us next time when we're going to be discussing the fairly recent 2022 annual UAP report.
Annual UAP report, okay.
Yes, the one put out by the government about UAPs. I mean, here we are. We're into 2023 quite a bit, so it's been out a little while now. So we'll be looking at what there was in there of relevance and the fallout that has come as a result of it. Now people are not massing on the streets screaming and panicking because there's clear and present evidence of extraterrestrial beings, so we can roll that one out from the UAP report. But we'll be looking to see if there is something a bit more interesting in there anyway, so don't miss that one. In the meantime,
and if that has any bearing on what's become a lot very, very, very interesting in 2023.
Absolutely.
So this might be their all quiet on the Western Front report. There's nothing really up there.
Maybe you'll have to tune in next week to find out. In the meantime, keep looking into that ancient literature for any and all UFO, UAP, and otherworldly signs. And of course, keep watching the skies. Take care for now.
I'll be sure to do that. Bye-bye.
Aliens Explored is a Feagle Films production in association with Juicy Falls. Music by Darren Mafucci and editing by Stu Jackson. Find us on Twitter and Facebook by searching Aliens Explored, or visit aliensexplored.com.